Louder.
I was just talking to myself.
We want to hear that too.
Probably not. All right. I think I'll start with my name. Shalom. Malocclusion is the reason the dentist gave for tearing out my gold tooth, and I nodded in agreement, her pliers bullying me into releasing a bit of my identity and then tossing it in the trash, and now my teeth click together in incompatible ways, and I have erased what I imagined as a connection beyond my name to 1944, but I still know how my bones angle at 80 pounds, and what bargaining I'd have done with that tooth, what I must have done to stay alive, how I'd have pled with rocks and soil, but offered up no Kaddish. This one's called Sisters. I leaned over the plexiglass rail, watched as the sisters tromped their way down through the long weeds, finally reached the old two-treed house, slow shimmied up, extending hands for help to one another, and I held my breath, knowing how wind will leave homes a shamble and time pulls branches apart. Sons. Therefore, because the king's command was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Daniel 3:22. Those three brothers belonged to God, and I suppose needed a lesson in obedience. So many must have demanded it of them, including their king, who in his Pavlovian experiment of idolatry and praise, expected that, cued by the music, all would pause to worship his golden image. But not Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that trio forever shackled together in the mouths of Sunday school children. They said no, which was ballsy of them, granted, but I can't help think of the guards who bound and then escorted Shad, Shach, and Abed into the furnace. Probably young men themselves, those guards, simply demonstrating their devotion to their Lord and Keeper, young men whose mothers must have made them promise, must have pleaded with them, just as I would have with my own, to be meek, to listen carefully for the flute, the horn, the harp, the lyre, and the psaltery, and when they heard, to kneel, to bow, to prostrate themselves. Mothers who knew they could not save their sons from the wrath of an arrogant master should they refuse to submit. What were their names? And as the heat fanned out at 7 times the strength of the furnace, did they scream? As the fire ate through their muscle and bone, did they cry out, Imam, Imam, while Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and the Son of God danced in the flames? This one's called Full Thickness, and it refers to a 3rd or 4th degree burn. Full thickness. 1. There will be a dress down and an admonishing that will stun you. You have inconvenienced him or acted insensitive in some way, but really what you have done is made him feel foolish, and this is unacceptable. 2. The slap will possibly be months, but probably weeks later, again for inconsideration on your part. You won't mind so much. You will imagine you are reenacting a scene in an old movie. The Hollywood kiss after will carry you over until the next time. 3. There will be a public dress down. This will be worse than anything in private. And whether his friends approve or not, 4, there will be weapons. A steel-toed boot, a dart thrown across the room, the steaming slats of a wall heater. You will hear yourself scream, and the sizzle of burning flesh. You will consider both sounds before you pass out. It will be years before you wonder what happened to those seared-off pieces of skin. Years before you imagine him with a soft cloth after the metal has cooled, wiping away layers of you. Wow. This one's called Father. I referenced your dead father too many times tonight. I felt the inaudible click of locking metal and silent slam of some door inside, your red-rimmed eyes glaring up at me, hating yourself and him. You know I was well within my right to drag his trembling, alcoholic hand up from the dust to shake in your face and startle you. Forgive me the intrusion, but I would rather have the frightened boy than the 35-year-old drunk, the sour reek of failure stinging against my pores as you grumble loneliness to yourself and your father, killing the both of you and me again. This is the last one. It's called Fat Tuesday, and at times my poems can be somewhat incendiary, I suppose. Even if they fire you up because you hate them, I consider my job done. So, no apologies. Fat Tuesday. Please check road closures as per Caltrans. Highway 38, 330, and 18 are closed in the San Bernardino Mountain area for further notices. CSUSB alert sent 2:58 p.m. February 12, 2013, Mardi Gras. As I search for a way down the mountain, the festivities have already begun. Tomorrow we make confession, paint our foreheads, pretend we can achieve purity in 40 days, but now the festivities have begun, and we're bloated with self-righteousness, fear suspended metallic in our mouths, and swaying suggestively in stubby beads above our breasts, and we gobble down gloat, gluttonous in our detest. Tomorrow we supplicate our souls, sink to our knees, relinquish our will, but today the festivities have begun and we burn a man alive.